sipurei masios. Fourth story. Tale 4. The King of the Cree Conversion. A story of miracles. Once there was a king who decreed religious exile over the country, that is, whoever wanted to remain in the country had to convert, otherwise he would be expelled from the country. There were some who abandoned all the goods and wealth, and they left in poverty in order to remain in the faith and be able to the Jews. But some had pity on the wealth that remained there. They became a nuisance, literally forced, compelled, discreetly, that is, in concealment, privately, in secret. They practiced their religion of the Jews, but publicly, that is, in front of people. They were not allowed to conduct themselves as Jews. They were not allowed to conduct themselves as Jews. Later the king died and his son became king, and he began to rule the country very sharply, that is, forcefully, heavy-handedly, and conquered many countries. And he was very wise, and because he held the royal ministers with the tight grip, literally very sharply in his hand, they banded together to attack him and kill him off with all his offspring. And among the ministers was one of the Anusim. He decided, why did it become an Anus? Because I had pity of my possessions and my wealth. Now if the king will be killed and the country be left without a king, everyone will swallow his fellow alive, for a country cannot exist without a king. נחman, therefore he decided to go and tell and inform the king, without them knowing. And he went and told the king that they had conspired against him. As mentioned, the king went and probed whether it was true, and he saw it was true, and he stationed guards all the night that fell upon him. They were caught and judged, each one according to his sentence. The king answered and said to the minister, who was an Anus, forced convert, what honor shall I give you for having saved me and my offspring? Shall I make you a minister? That is, I hear you are already a minister. Give you money, you have money. Say what honor you want. I will surely do it for you. The honest answered, but will you really do what I say? The king said, yes, I will certainly do what you wish. The honor said, swear to me by your crown and your kingdom. The king swore to him, the honor supplied the main honor. My main honor is to be permitted to be a Jew in public, to put a tallest and feeling in public. The king was extremely disturbed, because in his entire country there were not allowed to be any Jews, but he had a choice because of the oath he had sworn that whatever he wished he would do for him. In the morning the honest went to put on tallest and filling in public. Later the king died and the son became king. The son began to rule gently, because he saw that they had wanted to eliminate his father, as mentioned, and he conquered many countries and was extremely wise. The new king ordered a conveying of the new king ordered a convening of all astrologers to tell him what sort of thing could cause his offspring to be cut off, so that he could guard against it. The astrologers told him that his offspring would not be cut off, but only he should guard himself from a bull and a ram, that is, from an ox and a lamb. This was written down in the record book. The king ordered his children to also rule the country as he did gently. Later he died, his son became king, and he began to rule this country stringently like his grandfather, and conquered many countries. And he fell upon a wisdom in order to announce that no ox or sheep should be found in his country, so that his offspring could not be cut off. So he thought he now had no fear of anything, and he ruled the country very stringently, and he became extremely wise. Later on the king fell upon a wisdom that he could conquer the entire world without battle. There are 7 parts in the world, for the world consists of 7 parts, and there are 7 planets, that is 7 luminaries that circle, that is, make a progression through the 7 days of the week, and each planet shines on one of the 7 parts of the world. And there are 7 kinds of metals, that is 7 different metals, namely gold, silver, copper, tin, etc. That is 7 different metals, namely gold, silver, copper, tin, etc. And each of the 7 and each of the 7 planets shines on a specific metal. The king went and gathered all the 7 different metals in order to bring him all the golden portraits of all kings, which hang at the palaces, and he made a Memphis. Its head was of gold, its body of silver, and likewise the rest of The rest of the limbs of the metals in this man were all 7 kinds of metal. And he stationed the man on a high mountain, and all of the 7 planets shine in the man. And when the man needed any advice or any commerce, he did not know whether to do it or not, he would stand facing the limb of the type of metal pertaining to the part of the world where the man was from, and the man would contemplate whether to do the thing he needed or not. And if he needed to do it, that limb would light and shine, and if not, it would darken. All this did the king do, and thereby he conquered the entire world and amassed a huge amount of money. Whether this effigy that he had made from the 7 various metals, however, this effigy that he had made from the 7 various metals was not able to perform unless the king cast down the haughty. Unless the king cast down the haughty and raised the lowly, that is, throw down big people from the great descent, pick up little people. He went and sent orders to all generals and other ministers who held positions of authority and orders, merit badges and special privileges. They all came, and he demoted them, removing their positions, even those who had positions which they served since his great-grandfather. He took them all away, and lowly people did he raise, appointed them to their places of the great people. Among the ministers whom the king was casting down was the unloose. The king asked him, "What is your position?" He answered him, "My position is just to be permitted to be a Jew in public. For the favor that I did for your grandfather, the king took this from him, and he was again an honors." Once the king lay down to sleep, and he saw in a dream the clear sky, and he saw all 12 masios, constellations, that is the stars in the sky, all partitioned into 12 parts corresponding to the 12 months. A section of stars is as a lamb, which is the mazel of Nisan, and the mazel of Ear is called short bull, that is an ox. And so each month has its mazel, and he saw the bull and the ram, that is the ox and the lamb, that are among the masios laughing at him. He awoke with great fury and was very frightened. Ha 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 ha. He ordered to bring the chronicles. That is the book wherein everything is written down, and he saw it written there that by bull and ram his offspring would be cut off, and a great terror fell over him. And he told the queen, and a great terror also fell on her and the children, and his heart pounded hard, and he called for all the dream interpreters, and each one interpreted individually, each one by his own in his own way, but nothing would enter his ears. And an extremely great terror fell on him. A sage came and told him that inasmuch as he had tradition from his father that the sun had 365 courses past, and there is a place upon which shall of the 365 of the sun's paths shine, and an iron rod grows there, whoever has a fear when he comes to the rod will be safe from the fear. This pleased the king very much, and he went with his wife, children, and all his descendants to that place, and the sage also went with them. But in the middle of the way stands an angel who is in charge of anger, for by anger one creates a destructive angel, that is an angel that destroys and ruins, and this angel is appointed over all the destroyers. And he is asked the way, for there is a good path, Hebrew straight path for a man, and there is a path full of mud, and there is a path full of pits, as well as other paths. And there is a path where there is fire that incinerates for 4 miles. He repulsed us away. They asked the angel the way, and he told them the path where the fire is. And the sage kept looking around to see if the fire was there, for he had tradition from his father that the fire was there. Meanwhile he saw the fire, and he saw kings and Jews dressed in talents and filling going around in the fire. Hebrew only this was going around in the fire, going through the fire. Hebrew only this was because by those kings there lived Jews in their countries, therefore they were able to pass through the fire. The sage said to the king, "Since I have a tradition that 4 miles from the fire one is incinerated, I will go no further. You, if you wish, go." And the king thought that since he saw the kings walking around through there in the fire, he would also be able to go. To the sage replied, "I have a tradition from my father, so I do not want to go. You If you wish, go yourself. The king went with his entire offspring. They caught the fire. They were caught by the fire, and they were caught by the fire, and he and his entire offspring were incinerated and all cut off. Mamon. When the sage came home, it was a wonder to the ministers that the king and his offspring were cut off. Had he not guarded himself from a bull and a ram, how was it that his offspring and he were cut off? The Anus replied, through me has he been cut off. For the astrologers saw that by an ox and lamb his offspring would be cut off, but they did not know what they saw. For an ox from its hide they make the filling, and the lamb from its wool they make the sitzes for the talus. And by them was the king, and by them, through them was the king and his offspring cut off. For the kings were where Jews did live in their countries, wrapped in talus and filling. Where Jews that did live in the countries were wrapped in talus and filling, were able to go in the fire completely unharmed. But this king, because the Jews dressed in talus and filling were allowed to dwell in his country, was therefore, because the Jews dressed in talus and filling were allowed to dwell in his country, was therefore cut off with his offspring. And this was the bull and the ram of the masios laughing at him. For the astrologers saw that by bull and ram would his offspring be cut off. They did not, however, know what they saw, and the king was cut off with his offspring. Amen. So let all your enemies be obliterated, be obliterated, Hashem. Amen. So let all your enemies be obliterated, Hashem. Notes following the story. You want the nations in and upward. Teroyim b'shevet Baalzel. You will break them with the rod of iron, the iron rod. Penny enough Teveidu Darech, lest to be angry and you perish in the way, etc. And the words are extremely archaic and closed up. All this I read but nothing heard. In addition, I have found some more allusions from the story in this chapter. The not cool esmos the same or the nashlichum memeno of the same or let us break the bands asunder and cast away the cords from us. Bands are made of highest aspect of the filling of the same way of was our cord, the aspect of the sitzes. As a rabbis of blessed memory expounded this verse, attracted by the Zohar 3 regarding sent filling. Yes, Shemaim Yitzchak, he who dwelled on high will laugh, for the bull and the ram laughed at him. Then he speaks to them in his wrath, and he panics them with his sore displeasure. The anger, the panic, and the fear mentioned above. Vani, the Shakti, the Sachti, Malki, Al Sion Hakachi, but I have poured it on the king on Sion, my holy mountain. Perhaps allusion here is to the effigy that the king erected on the high mountain. Everything in holiness has its counterpart from evil, and this is counterpart of the king on the holy mountains, Mount Zion. For all the parts of the world are included there, and so forth. And this is the mountain there. Nosach is a term as in Nosach Vayitzah, pouring and pouring molding, the statue. Shall be many ask of me. All the advices mentioned above. Goyim nach l'sechel, vachuza sechel, afsei oretz. Nations are as your inheritance, and the ends of the earth is for your possession. To grasp together all the ends of the earth, namely all 7 parts of the world, and all the kings and nations as inheritance under him. Ivdu serve is sitzes b'yiro with all his tefillin, and v'gila b'yirado, and rejoice upon the trembling of the wicked. Rashi there, the entire story is hinted in this chapter. So well off is he who will know something of. So well off is he who will know something. So well off is he who will know something of these stories. So well off is he who will know something of these stories, which came about through great secrets of the Torah, which are completely, which are through and through, which are all great secrets of the Torah. Tell the king's son, who was made of precious stones, that once was a king, had no children. He went and got involved with doctors, so the king should not be present with strangers, did not help the Jews to pray for him to have children. The Jews decided to pray and cause it happen, and cause it happen. To pray and cause it to happen, that the king should have children.